Hi, this is James for Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Tolerance, which is a 3 to 5 player game published by Dragon Dawn. Now, this is going to be a trick-taking game, and I love trick-taking games. This is going to be an asymmetric trick-taking game with asymmetric powers and different scoring and all sorts of really cool stuff. The asymmetric powers are going to be in the cards, not the players, but the players are going to have characters, or can have characters with different scoring abilities, which is really cool. So let's go ahead down the table here and give you a general overview of how the game plays, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Tolerance. Tolerance is going to be a trick-taking game, and this trick-taking game is going to be set in the tumultuous years as British cuts adrift the Catholic Church, carving out a new national church, the Church of England, with the monarch as its supreme head. So throughout this game here, you're going to be playing through 3 different reigns. You're going to be playing through Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, and King James. The first round will be Queen Mary, second round will be Queen Elizabeth, and the first round will be King James. You could have 3 different stats in this game. You can have stats with the symbol here, which is going to be Catholic. This is going to be prevailing, and this is going to be Protestant. In the first round, you are looking for Catholics, and that's what your affiliation is. And then in that happens to be prevailing, which is this symbol right here, will be Catholics. In the second round, with Queen Elizabeth in it, you're going to have the prevailing neither be Catholic or Protestant. And in the final round, you'll have the prevailing, which is that circle, be Protestant for King James. Now, the setup for the game is pretty easy. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to hand out one of these player mats. And when you hand out one of these player mats, you'll also give them a scoring sheet that they can use throughout the game. Now, everyone, so there's going to be up to 5 of these here for each player. They'll get the scoring sheet, they'll get the play mat, and you will also get one of these player cards. Now, there's 2 sides to it. So one side, which is going to be the same for all 6. Sorry, there's 6 player mats. Or no, 5 player mats. Sorry, it's 3 to 5 player. One side's going to be Bertram the Balance. So they'll all be the same. So for your first game, you could play Bertram the Balance. So the scoring is going to be the same for everyone. So for the first round, for Mary, you'll have the scoring here, which you're looking for Catholics. So Catholics will score this way. Queen Elizabeth, you're actually looking for the prevailing religion, and you're looking for these things. So each deceased Catholic, each deceased Protestant, most money or equal to the most money, at least one with this symbol here, one for every one of for this symbol, and you can see that what those actually mean right here. So the first one, whoops, sorry, this sheet right here will show you. So you have you have noble, the townfolks are the wheel. You have nobles, clergy, townsfolk, peasants, and wild. Those are the suits that you have in the game. So you have 5 different suits. This is a trick-taking game. This is also pretty handy here for giving you the anatomy of the cards here and telling you the different abilities that you can have in the game on these cards. So notice this one has a symbol down here. This is going to be one of the symbols that you can use in the game. This one's going to have this symbol here, which is collect piety. You have collect taxes. You have convert. So this one would convert a Catholic to a Protestant. You also have condemn. That's that little gallows there. So you could condemn a Catholic, and this is the quantity of 1. This one here is going to be kill. So this is the type of card you would kill. So you have these different effects that can be on each of these cards that will resolve. I'll show you how those resolve in a little bit. But this is a pretty handy little sheet that you can have. So you have Bertram the Balance, but then you also on this side have asymmetric powers that you can have in the game. And each of these are going to be a little different. And you can play with these exposed so people know what you're trying to score, or you could play with these hidden and people don't know how you're scoring until the end of the round or end of the game here when you do your scoring. And you can see how these could be a little different, right? Like Gregory is looking for, doesn't matter if they're Catholic or Protestant, and likes a lot of money. But Ned specifically doesn't like Catholics, looking for more Protestants for points, and likes money a lot. So each of these can have different scoring on there, and that's the 3 different ways that you can have it. The remainder of the setup is pretty simple. Basically, you're going to take whichever ruler is for the age, so in this case Queen Mary, and we'll shuffle her in. And the next round we'll take Queen Mary out and put Queen Elizabeth in, and the third round we'll take Queen Elizabeth out and put King James in. So that's how all 3 of those rounds work, and the person with the most points at the end of the third round is going to win. All right, so the rest of the setup is going to be this. So basically we're going to shuffle up this deck, then I'm going to count out so many cards, then I'll put the queen in. So I did a little earlier, but for 3 players we're to count out 35 cards. For 4 players we're to count out 47, and for 5 players we're to count out 59. And then we're going to add the queen in, and or king depending on your reign there. And then we're going to, for each player, we are going to deal out 12 cards to them. So each player here will have 12 cards as their hand, and this game round, so each of the rounds here is going to take over 12 tricks. At the end of the 12th trick, the round will end. We're going to go through 3 rounds of the game. Scoring will occur at the end of each round, and then we also have some end of game scoring. So now that everyone has their 12 cards there, you're going to be able to take a look at them. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick to see whoever was the first person or last person to have a religious activity, they will be the first player. And the way this works is going to be a trick-taking game. So when I go through this, you'll probably want to separate this by suit. So you're looking at this top part. And again, for suits, you're going to have 5 different suits. You're going to have noble, clergy, townsfolk, peasants, and wilds. And this is going to be the suit order too. So if you need to actually resolve that, that's going to be nobles, then clergy, then townsfolk, then peasants, and then wild at the bottom. Wild becomes a suit though, so wild really won't be a thing normally. And what you're going to do is you're going to probably, like I said, want to sort these cards by suit and by rank. So 8 is higher than 5, which is higher than 1. And you're going to take a look, and you're going to be trying to see what your scoring is for the round. So you're going to take a look at your sheet here. So we're doing Bertram the Balanced. We're going to be looking for these different things in round 1. So each round scoring is going to be important. So basically some of the cool things that you're being able to look through, and you can see this in the score sheet too, is that in the first round here, you're going to be looking for Catholics. So you're going to, in the first round, score a point for each living Catholic in your pile. So they'll be in this pile right here. And for the second round, you're going to be scoring a point for every prevailing. In the third round, you're going to be scoring a point for every Protestant in your pile. And then you're going to do your special scoring on your sheets, whether it be Bertram the Balanced or your asymmetric power there. And that's going to be scoring for that. After the third round, you'll do final scoring, and you're going to take a look at these to see where they're at. So as the game goes by, one of the important things for scoring before we go over tricks or why you're doing it is these. So every time you're going to get either Catholics, Protestants, or money here, you're going to be ticking off the numbers. Once you actually hit this number, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or 60, same with each of these, you'll be crossing this off. So if I have 10 Catholic points here, I'm going to cross this one off, and I'll have 1 red. And that, at the end of the game, scoring here is going to be the red that I'm going to count. Now, it's not 10 red. It's going to be 1 red that I crossed off. So I'll get 4. In this case, I get 4 points for every red that I've crossed off. In this case, I would get -1 for every Protestant one that I crossed off. And for this case, for every yellow one that I've crossed off, I'll gain a point. So how do you play your tricks? Well, this is a trick-taking game. So the person who starts the trick is going to determine the suit that everyone needs to play. So if I play, let's say, oh, I want to win this first one. I want to try to, I'm not going to be doing too well this first round looking at Catholics, but the prevailing ones do help. So I'm going to go ahead and play this 10 here. And this is going to be the 10, and this is to be the peasant. So the next player has to look at their hand, and if they have any of these types of cards, they have to play it. So this player might be like, okay, I'm going to play the 13. And then this player is looking at their hand here, and they're like, I don't want to win this one yet, so I will play the 4. Now this is an example of a simple hand here that we're playing. So the way this would work is the player that played the same suit would win with the 13 here, and then they win the suit, and we're going to put this in rank order and resolve each of these effects, and then these will all go in that player's score pile. Now if this player would have played this 11 instead, even though this is a higher number than this one because they didn't play the suit that was led, this player would still win. If they would have played a wild card, they have to pick what suit it would be, and it doesn't have to be the prevailing suit, so they could just lose that on purpose if they play the wild card. If the first player plays the wild card, they have to immediately pick what suit it's going to be, and then everyone follows. So that's the basic of the trick taking. But when we do line this up, so this player would have won, so this player is going to resolve the wonderful things that they have got on here. And this is actually a pretty darn simple one going through. Basically, they're going to go left to right here. And in this case, they're just going to gain 3, 4, 5, 7. 3 plus 4, 7, and then 1, 8 money, which is really good. They'll mark it off on their sheet right here. And in addition, they got this guild member. And the guild members really aren't an effect in the game, so you can see that they don't really do anything for the effect list on here. But they do help you out because for owning at least one or more, you can gain points on these. So they will go in their proper piles. In this case, we have 2 living, prevailing, and 1 Protestant. So they would go in like that. Now, there's all sorts of other effects that could have happened, so we could go over some of those right now. So this one here would have condemned the lowest piety Protestant. So in your pile there, let's say we had this Protestant right here, and we had this Protestant right here. So this would have activated first, and this one actually kills either a noble or a peasant in one of them. So this one would happen first, and we're going to take a look and see if either of these are noble or peasant. They are not. This one here would condemn the lowest piety Protestant. In this case, it's going to be this card, which is still around. So look, piety 3, piety 2. One of the things we should probably go over real quick is what's all on these cards. So this is your suit. So you notice there's those 5 different suits it could be. This is going to be its rank. So lower is worst, higher is better. This is going to be a religious affiliation. This is going to be its piety. So this is a piety number. This is how much money. And these are going to be the effect and what it does. So the target. So that's a card anatomy on there. So that's one of the things that can happen. You can also do cool stuff like convert. So let's see if we can find a convert card here. They'll have the, well, I could just show you on here. The convert card here will actually convert a religious affiliation. So it'll have a convert and have a target. Normally it's going to be the opposite. So the Protestant will target a Catholic, and that will be turned into, let's say, Protestant, or vice versa. You also have collect taxes. They all have a target, and you'll get to collect money from that player. And then you have kill, which will kill a card, and they'll go down into the deceased area. And you have the collect piety action too. All right, so let's go over these effects a little better. So let's say we have the kill effect. So the kill effect is the straightforward one. It's just basically going to kill the matching target, and that will have to go into your deceased pile. that's either going to be the Catholic, the prevailing, or the Protestant. Super easy, straightforward kill. The convert one, which is going to be any of these, the symbol right here with this symbol. The convert is going to target the card of a specific religion with the lowest piety. If the piety is lower than the converting card, the target is converted. When the converted card goes to the below, place it in the affiliated area. So it has to have a lower piety than the thing that's converting it. And when it does, it'll go into the not. So if it was a converted Protestant, it would actually go into the Catholic pile. Condemn is going to be similar. Condemn is going to be the attempt to kill. So condemn the target card of the specified religion with the lowest piety. If the piety is lower than the condemning card, so in this case lower than 5, the target is killed. If the piety is the same or higher, there is no effect. So we're looking for things less than 5 on there, hopefully in that trick. You could also collect piety, which was going to be collect piety is the symbol on the top here. When you're collecting piety, collect the piety value of each living card in the trick of all the specific types. So the target. If there is no specific type mentioned on the card, collect all living cards in the trick. You must distinguish between Catholic piety, Protestant piety, and collect and score them separately depending on which cards they come from. Cards with no religion, such as the prevailing during Elizabeth reigns, scores nothing. But prevailing, remember, in the first round become Catholic, and the last round are Protestant, so that does matter. Collecting taxes is pretty straightforward on this one too. You're just going to gain some extra money. Collecting the money value of each living card in the trick of all the specific type. If there is no specific type mentioned on the card, collecting all living cards in the trick. So that's how all those different ones work. And the rules have a nice explanation for every single one of these cards that you can go through. So we're going to go through, we're going to complete 12 different tricks. After we finish 12 different tricks, we're going to do our scoring for that round. You're going to mark them on the sheet here, so you'll mark each one. And you have also additional places to put your scoring in here, especially for the guild membership cards and the standing suit. So in this case, you'll get a point for every Catholic one. Dead total, so however many dead for them you have. And then this one here, you're going to be looking for prevailing, and this one here, you're going to be looking for Protestant. You'll have your totals here. You'll have your totals here. And you're going to add these all up and get a final score. So after the third round, you'll do your end of game scoring, which I showed you on here. This is going to really pay attention to however many of these crossed off. Again, it's not the value. That's what the value required to get it crossed off. So if I cross off a 10, it's really 1. If I cross off the 20, I really have 2, not 20. And that's it. That's all there is to tolerance. It's actually a very sophisticated trick-taking game with lots of asymmetric effects. One last thing that I will mention in there, for anyone reads it, if you run out of money, you're going to need to take a loan. And these loans here are going to be -3 points at the end of the game if they're still out. And you could pay them off if you want in between rounds here for paying 5 money to discard this loan. So you may need to take loans in the game if you ever run out of money over here. Also, if for any reason you actually cross one of these off and you drop below that, you still have that crossed off. You only need to make it to it. You don't need to maintain it in this game. So that's another important part. So that's it for tolerance. Let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on tolerance. So that was tolerance. So it's very thematic art on this. Whether you like it or not, it fits the theme of the game here. And the card quality is good in this game here. Now, the trick-taking components of this game are really, really interesting. There's a lot of card abilities that fire off, and a lot of different things you're going to look at procedurally, that whether you want to win or not, or when you want to win the trick, when you don't want to win a trick, and have all those things go off and do different things in the game, and a lot of different decisions in there. This game, I think, shines the most at the highest player count, which is going to be 5. I think this game actually plays best there because you have so many different things happening and so many really cool things resolve, and you have a plethora of targets out there too. So for the different abilities, you have more options out there. Really like this game at the higher player count. Now, the art in the game might not be on everyone's cup of tea, so you have to keep that in mind. But the gameplay of this is a lot of fun. So if you're okay with the theme and the art in this game, or you like that type of art, I would highly, and especially if you like trick-taking games, I would highly recommend picking up Tolerance and giving it a play. I really think they put a lot of thought into how those mechanisms work, and is a really cool game for the decisions that you need to make in the game, because you don't want to win every trick. You may actually lose points if you win a trick. So you have to be very careful when you win or lose tricks. Really cool. And if you sort of figure out what your opponent is trying to get and trying to avoid, you can actually mess with them in the game too, which I think is a lot of fun. I do recommend that you use Bertram the Balance to get started for your first couple games, but later on definitely use the asymmetric scoring. You could do with it unhidden, so everyone knows what it is, or you could do it with it hidden. I think it's a lot of fun to do it with it hidden, so that you're the only one that knows the scoring until the scoring occurs. I really like that. That's really cool. So overall, yeah, so Tolerance, my only caveats were it is if you're okay with the theme and you're okay with the art. The art's not bad. It's just, like I said, it's not everyone's cup of tea. You saw it from the where I went over did the overview of the game. As long as you're cool with that, really great trick-taking game. And that's my thoughts on Tolerance. Thank you for watching.